All right, so I've been asked a few times to give an update on the truck. Just wanted to let you know where we're at. This is kind of a different version of what I was doing since the original build. I went to, this is the OMC COBRA 2.3 boat intake. It's basically the same design as Racer Walsh D-Port, except this is a cast iron, his is aluminum. But same design, and it goes up to a, this is a Holley 2300 flange. I made an adapter from the 2300 flange to a Weber. Just bought an off-the-shelf and re-drilled it. So this is an adapter from a Weber to the Holley 2300. I basically just drilled it out and put my own studs in. Took a little trip to the hardware store. It's pretty easy. This is an LC Engineering, I think is what it's called, LCE. Not really sure. It's a 1-inch spacer. I really like it. It's got a cool little design in it, kind of a tapered design. It's supposed to give you more torque. I don't know if it makes a big difference or not, but that's my setup. So intake, adapter, spacer. And the reason I got a spacer is because I like to have a little room between here. That's just my preference. I know some people have, notched out their valve cover for simplicity and supposedly performance. I went ahead and put a spacer on that. This is a a Weber 3838. I think I'm running 140 jets in it. And I had to go up on the pilots. They're currently like 55s for the idle air pilot jetting. Just a quick and dirty fab on my bracket here. And this is an off-the-shelf. You can buy these little... I can't get it off. Anyway, you can buy these little... I don't know what the heck they're called, but they're they just adapt to this style where you can put the bowl on it so you can run your original style throttle cable. And like I said, I just made a quick and dirty bracket here just to get everything hooked up. Nothing, distributors not locked out. I just kind of pulled the timing back a little bit. I think I'm running total 2628 total. I don't like how close this gets to the turbo, so I've just put some heat shielding on here, and I wrapped the header. Unfortunately, this is cheap wrap, and it's coming apart. It's pretty crap. And this, I think this header might be cracked. I'm hearing a little bit of ticking, so I'm not sure if this gasket isn't sealing very well or if it's cracked underneath. I'll have to, when it gets warmer, I'll take it off and inspect it. eBay, ooh, what's that? Anyway, that's what my rattle is. Gosh darn, freaking eBay crap. Just an eBay wastegate, but I do have a very cheap but well-made manual boost controller. Currently running 9. When I got to 10 pounds, I noticed that I had boost creep at 4,000 RPMs. And once I got to that, I'm running a Holley blue pump. The blue pump is only good to 14 pounds. So once I hit a little bit of boost creep at 4,000 RPMs, I started getting fuel cut where my fuel pressure was being overcome by the boost. So I knocked the boost back 1 pound. That's all I did. Now I can run up full 5,500. I don't really recommend doing 5,500. I'm not comfortable with that. 4,500 to 5,000 is about all I'm personally comfortable with this valve train. I'd like to run a little heavier springs and get a different cam before I start turning it a little bit higher in the RPM range. So right now this cam's only good for, it's stock, so it's probably more of a low range. So 4,500 is probably where the power cuts, but it just revs so quick when I'm in first and second gear that I just left it. I just kind of, we'll just leave it at that. Down the road we'll get a better cam and better springs in there and maybe rev it to the moon. Something that matches, because right now if you rev it to the moon, you're not really in the power range anyway. This is an eBay or Amazon wastegate. I actually had it turned like kind of angled up, and I didn't realize it was getting a hold of the top of this. You see where it has a little witness mark. And because this is cheap aluminum from Amazon, it was starting to wear into my blow-off valve. But everything works fine there. No problem there. I did wrap this because it was starting to, you know, heat up this stuff. It actually melted some of my HVAC. So I've notched that. Quick and dirty little plate that I made in there to cover that up. Still have heat, which is nice. Down there you can see that I've also got my starter wrapped. That's where my main problem started coming from. I actually had to replace my starter because starter overheated from this pipe getting right next to it. If you had a better angle, like a 45 instead of a 90, if you did like a 45 right through there, you could probably eliminate that issue that I had. But I'm not an exhaust guy. I just made a 90 to a 90, you know, which made me vertical out the back so I can get an exhaust on it. The exhaust that I do have this is all 3-inch pipe. This is a Flowmaster FX. I really like it. It's a straight through design. I just dumped it off, and I never did finish that hanger there, but I got other hangers down there, so I didn't really care. I went to, this is something nice. I did have to modify some of this, but this is a later Ranger thermostat housing. I was having my water get through here, and the truck would run cold all the time. So I thought if I change the housing to a newer housing and it would get a better seal. No, it's still not sealing. That's just been a giant pain in my butt. But anyway, I put a fan relay in here. A fan switch in here. Don't really recommend that. It kind of comes on late. Obviously, it's better to have it in the block than out here. I do have a provision for the block back there. I don't know, I just thought this would be great. It wasn't. Learn from my mistakes. This is a 65 Mustang radiator. It is leaking. It's a cheap Chinesium crap. Same with the fan. It's a cheap eBay, Amazon. Most of my parts were sourced from Amazon first till I started to learn a little bit more. But I actually had this laying around because I have a 65 Mustang. So I had this one laying around from a previous endeavor. So it didn't cost me anything. I do have a T5 5-speed that I want to convert this to, but it's currently a 4-speed manual. I have everything due swap. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So one of the big things about doing a carburetor blow-through setup is you have to take your butterfly, your choke butterfly out. And since I've done that, speaking of which, I never did hook up I kind of changed this around. I don't even think it'll reach now. My electric choke is on the back. And technically, so you know, this provision that comes for your stock Ranger is only like a 7 amp output. And if you're going to go to an electric choke, you really should have a 12 amp. The electric chokes kind of are a bimetal, and this is a little heater. It's kind of like a timed heater. So it takes a little bit longer to heat that up to, you know, relieve your choke. So I do run the 7 amp normally. I'm going to tuck this in here where it won't get into anything. I normally do like to run the 12 amp to that instead of the 7, just because that's more, you know, a little bit proper, but I can't quite, it's back here. I can't reach it. Since, I've turned this thing around so many times, I've had different setups, so, but I like where I'm at. It makes good boost, good power. Here's what I was getting at. So, because you have to take, for the blow-through setup, you have to take your choke blades out of here. So the blades, the shaft, everything comes out. That gives you a good area for your boosted air to come through. So you can really cram that air in there and there's no disruption or disturbance. Because you lose that choke, guess what? Man, when it's frickin', you know, whatever temperature out it is right now, this is what happens when you go to start it. And we'll just show you what happens. All right, that's my electric fuel pump. I like to prime it, give it a couple pumps. Oh, well, yeah, see, that's where you get that. You don't have a choke, so you go through this nonsense about 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times. All right. So anyway, I am going to let this warm up just for a little bit, and then I'll take y'all for a spin, and you can see kind of where it's at as far as power-wise. While it's warming up, I can show you another upgrade that I did. I went ahead and put in 8.8 limited slip rear end. It does have 410 gears in it. With these are pretty big tires. This is a 17-inch tire. What is that? 245, 65? Where is it at? 245, 65, 17. So it matches my 4-speed gear ratio pretty well. Kind of interested to see what it'll be like on the highway with the 5-speed. Hopefully better. I would think gaining a gear. And I got a blanket in here. My daughter gets cold. So I'll let this warm up for a little bit, and I'll take it for a spin. All right, well, I've jockeyed it around the block. Of course, right now it's prime time. School's out. But the idea is to get it on the highway, give you a good pull. So right there's the highway. But you can just kind of see how it feels, and it's in the city. It's really not so bad. My speedometer's off. I'm really doing less by I think it's 5 miles off with this gear ratio that I have now. So I'm only doing 25. So when it says 25, I'm doing 20. So it's 5 miles fast. So just keep that in mind. And hopefully you can hear what I hear with my ears on the camera, because the turbo sounds awesome, especially when you get into full boost and it starts coming out the wastegate. It kind of gives it a cool rumble sound. I really like it. So here, we'll do a good pull here, get on the highway, and hopefully the angle's all right. I was hoping you can kind of see my gauges and the speedometer and a little bit of the road too. So this is a roundabout. The truck actually does handle really well, believe it or not. It has a lot of body roll, but it sticks even with the body roll. So we'll give her a good pull. You'll see me short shift. That's just my preference. I don't like to wind it all the way out, but here we'll do a pull from about 60. Volume coming out of that Holley blue, but not enough pressure, and that's where my limit was. So anyway, I'll leave that video here. As you can see, I'm kind of RPM'd out. That's why I want my 5-speed. One more gear I think will make all the difference with an overdrive. No problem with power. It's just I'm kind of running out of gear, I guess. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully, if you have any more questions about the build or technical things, just let me know. Just shoot me a comment. I will get to them. I didn't realize comments were off for me, so I didn't see them. So if I'm more than willing to help you guys, if you have any questions, just be realistic and go easy on me. I have a full-time job too, but I will try to help you out. I'm helping a buddy of mine build his truck up, so I gave him a bunch of my old parts. So really enjoy this truck, the project, and everything. And thanks for all the comments and the questions. So talk to you later, guys.